All right, now we're going to talk about this. I'm sure you've seen what's going on with the Sinaloa cartel right now. El Chapo's son. Cartel lays siege to Mexican City after recapture of the son of El Chapo. Armed men took hostages, burned vehicles, and stormed an airport in northern Mexico on Thursday after federal forces captured Ovidio Guzman, one of the world's most wanted cartel leaders and the son of imprisoned drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. He's 33 years old. He was arrested after a gunfight. Officials canceled flights, suspended school, and ordered residents to shelter in place as cartel members threw up road blockades in multiple cities, injuring at least 25 security forces and killing one. In Culiacan, Sandoval said cartel fighters blocked all 6 entrances to the city and attacked a commercial airport and a nearby Air Force base. At least one commercial flight and Air Force plane were hit with gunfire. The cartel response appeared modeled after a bloody siege on Culiacan in I almost said 2010 in the wave in my pen. In 2019, the last time federal forces sought to capture Ovidio Guzman. So here's some of the pictures of what's going on. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador eventually ordered Guzman's release to avoid more bloodshed. And this was happening. This was talking about in 2019. It was a moral defeat for the entire Mexican state, said Carlos, a security analyst at the Center for Research. Now, I mean, here's the thing, right? It's like whenever this type of stuff happens, and I'm sure that there's no videos on this page in particular. This is from the Los Angeles Times. But the thing is it's like, you know, when things like this happen, and then oftentimes, you know, the story gets told is like the cartels are just this force that just exists in the world for no reason. Like they aren't a direct result of our fucking drug policies. If weed, cocaine, and heroin were never outlawed, the cartels would never have existed. They just wouldn't. If alcohol wasn't banned in the early 20th century, La Cosa Nostra would never have dominated the American underworld for nearly 100 years the way that they did. You know, I mean, when you outlaw this type of stuff in this type of way, you just create this huge vacuum for extremely violent and powerful organizations to exist. So, you know, we've had this war on drugs for decades, you know, much longer than I've been alive, and it hasn't worked at all. You know what I'm saying? So we have evidence that tells us and that shows us and proves that legalizing, taxing, regulating, treating drug addiction as a health issue instead of a punitive problem. We have research to show that actually lessens the amount of drugs that people do, but also it delegitimizes the products on the black market. You know what I'm saying? Like I sold prescription medications and weed for a very long time. And you know, you can directly see the change in the streets in the game with weed from how legalization has swept through the United States, right? With weed. Because, you know, I remember like when I smoked weed for the first time when I was 14 years old. I didn't really start smoking like a lot until I was like 17, 18, my senior year. But I remember even at that time, like you could have like what they call like Reggie or mid or whatever, like, you know, bad weed was still all over the streets and good weed was more expensive, right? Like you could sell, like when I was in high school, you was paying like $500-$600 for an ounce of some good weed. But now, so damn right. I see you, Mike. I see you. So you know what I'm talking about. You feel me? Like, and then what happened is slowly like bad weed just disappeared because nobody wanted it, because people didn't have to smoke it, because people have more access to legally or more safely having these growth operations that cost more in electricity, that take a lot of knowledge, and how to cultivate the crop, and all of those things. So over time, and again, now, like, weed in the streets is just significantly, it's becoming so cheap in the streets that there's not as much point in selling it. That's what's starting to happen. Like the same with like cigarettes, alcohol. One time alcohol was totally illegal to sell. Well, it was illegal to sell. You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. 65 an ounce after tax, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's become so much cheaper, and because of that, again, like, the black market share of it is, you can't ball out like you used to off of weed. You just can't. And you got to sell a lot of it compared to like coke or heroin or some shit. You got to sell so much more of it. You know what I mean? So it's like legalization literally delegitimizes the need to sell shit in the streets. Or you got to think of like Adderall or Ritalin, which is methylphenidate. Methylphenidate and Adderall. Well, Adderall and cocaine are both amphetamine, and methylphenidate is methylphenidate. But it's just speed. It all does the same shit. Adderall and Ritalin is cocaine. It's a different chemical makeup, but it's the same shit. Yet cocaine being illegal has led to, over the decades, millions of people murdered around the world, millions of people in prison around the world, and most of those people in prison for just having it, for not nonviolent reasons, right? And I say all that to wrap around. I've had personal experience in how legalization delegitimizes products on the black market. And we have data that shows that legalization delegitimizes the need to sell shit on the black market, which just minimizes violence, it minimizes crime, it minimizes corruption. And I say all that again to circle back around that they're always acting like, oh, these cartels, they're these evil organizations, as if we don't buy. They exist because we buy what they provide. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, these motherfuckers have no real interest in ending the drug war, because the answer is clear: legalize, tax, and regulate the products. For instance, like one of the issues, like coke, right? You want to be able to do pure cocaine, because if you do shit that's stepped on, you don't know what motherfuckers mixed in it, right? But when you legalize it, people don't have to worry about that type of shit. So if you're really worried about, oh, they're putting fentanyl and cocaine out here, which people are doing, then why don't you make it easier for people to just get it? You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like, why not? It like, and again, like, for another thing, like cocaine, because like it's illegal and it's not regulated, like you have to put it, I mean, you can turn it into crack, but you have to put it in your sinuses, which over time can really damage your shit. Motherfuckers' noses be dripping and just fucks them up. Well, if it was legalized and regulated, they could maybe put it in the pill form. It was legal at one point, but put it in the pill form, make it safer to do. You feel me? It just, all of the best reasons to deal with drugs lies on the other side of legalization. So it's just interesting that, this story really just sheds light on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if lawmakers really care about this issue, then why don't you just take their funding away from them? You feel me? Like, make it simple. But y'all didn't let them become what they are. So I mean, it's like it's a direct result of our own policies. But hey,